Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be with Jamila Ponton Bragg. She's the founder of JamRock Productions, a theater production company committed to works for women, about women, and by women. After nearly 20 years in the nonprofit industry, Jamila transitioned into theater production. She's got so many amazing projects from the prize winning, Blackburn Prize winning, and she's also done incredible works like Death of a Salesman, the play Fat Ham, which was a Tony nominated Best Play, The Whiz, Soul Train, Passover. Jamila also has a background having been named Broadway Women Fund's Women to Watch on Broadway. She graduated from Duke, a BS in psychology, a master's from the Harvard Graduate School of Education. She's originally from Pittsburgh and resides in Harlem. Jamila, thank you so much for being here. Very excited about this conversation.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start with this question. How do you identify and how has that shaped your career?
I am an African American woman, and I am clear. I'm a Black woman, and I can't put one above the other. I am being Black influences how I show up as a woman, and how being a woman is influenced by being Black, and they can't be separated. Um, it is I'm very, very cynical on it right now. I believe, which is terrible, I know, but I believe that the world hates women, and I really believe that the world hates Black women. And yes, it's some lingering from the election and elections, but it's also just the constant war on women and the constant way that we have to constantly prove ourselves again and again, and how it influences why I want to find ways to amplify women, because our stories aren't told in the right way, or we are put in a box, or we are represented in their tropes or stereotypes. And so any story that I support, it is important to me, even if a woman isn't the main character, that women have depth, that they have depth to them, they have depth to their character. And that's important to me. And I'm grateful that I can be in this space to be able to find ways to lift up women and stories about women.
Jamila, this passion of yours, it started much earlier, right? It wasn't like this in the last couple of years with the politics going on. You've
Yeah,
been committed for decades now. And I'm
I
curious,
have.
yeah.
Women and girls, and championing women and girls has always been important to me. Even in my nonprofit years, one of the companies that I worked for was Girls Incorporated, and Girls Inc. is dedicated to making all girls strong, smart, and bold. And so yeah, it has been something it's been kind of the fabric of any of the work that I've done, and I'm not surprised that I've been able to continue that even in the switch of a career.
Jamila, what are your thoughts on the pendulum swings? Because it's an honorable cause. One, I'm also, I feel like you're a sister in that. That's one of the reasons I wanted to connect with you is that there's a kinship in the work, and often, I mean, we're like goddesses that seem to have forgotten. The world has seemed to have forgotten.
Yeah.
Sometimes we also have forgotten. Our mothers are, incredible, our ancestors, and then our daughters and the future generations. And there's this lineage of power that we've forgotten. And so
Yeah.
I connect with you on that. And particularly, Jamila, that you have I mean, literally the stage for it. Mine is the podcast and books and meeting people. And then, people like you are so inspiring, but you literally have the stage.
Mhm.
And I want to talk about that because that is a gateway as someone who's a spectator and someone who claps and says, like, wow, the whiz, like groundbreaking. Can you talk about what it's meant for you in theater, being able to have that cause? How has that influenced the way in which you cast your productions, that you cast the storyline, that you convey this message? Can you talk about that as someone who is behind? You are behind the scenes. You are the
Yeah, completely
visionary.
behind the scenes. And one of the things I've learned about being a producer is it's about the people that you surround yourself with.
Mm,
And anytime that I work on a project or what I'm doing, the people that I choose to work with also have to share those ideals in some way, in the way that they show up with the casting directors that I choose. Funny you said about the casting director. The casting directors that I choose, the directors I choose to work with, the the writers that I choose. It really starts with the writers. It's about the people that I choose, that they also, that these are their values and the stories they want to tell and be involved in are also the lifting up of women are also important to them as well. I tend to think about it, and it's just little things. You can just tell. I mean, as you said, we've been able to connect and get a vibe from just spending time with each other. You figure that out when you're talking to people, when you're getting to know people, when you're asking them questions about something. You figure out pretty quickly whether or not your values are going to align, and you know pretty quickly that, or when it's not going to work, and what's something that puts you off. And I've learned to trust that instinct. I've learned to trust the when things don't align or when we're off, and so I am a little more wary of that when I'm working with somebody, or choose not to work with them. Is really it is really that, but it is, if our tastes align, if the same kind of stories that we're choosing align, you can tell a lot about that. I've also been in situations where I figured out, this is what's interesting about a project, the play that you mentioned before, Away to, the writer A.K. Payne, brilliant young writer, that I'm proud to support and pour into. I was asked to be a part of another project that is by a different writer, Abigail Anuwali, if I pronounced that correctly. And I was getting to know Abigail and found out that she and AK are best friends. And I was like, of course we would be drawn to each other. I'm drawn to the same thing in both of you that connects the two of you. And so it's little things like that. It's really the the people and the vibe. I don't mean to feel like vibes are something that's not, make it a bigger, oh, there's no, it's not professional in any way, but it really is. We have our tastes align, our interests align, the way that they want, the writing that they have aligns, the choices that they make as a casting director, the choices they make as a director, all of that aligns.
I hear you say the importance of finding your people, finding community, especially when the message is maybe not the mainstream. And there is power in seeing ourselves in each other and being able to lift up. Especially, I'm gonna say, Jamila, it is a tough time. It's a tough time to be a woman of color, a Black woman, and finding solidarity, finding ways of saying I see you is critical. I want to talk about, Jamila, your way of standing strong during these waves of opposition, because you've continued for decades fighting the fight, say, like lifting up, as sometimes people falter. How do you, in these waves, stay strong? And if you have examples of, in theater, a challenge that we face is this kind of challenge, and here's how you've been able to weather the storm.
It's a great question in this time. I wanted to make sure, I'm forgive me for being distracted. It's Anwunali. I want to get her last name right. Abigail Anwunali
Mhm.
is the playwright. I think making art is an act of resistance right now. Having the opportunity, I'm so grateful that I have the opportunity to make art, to pour into these artists, to support these projects. That is what's keeping me going right now, truly. The fact that I can continue to lift them up. I think about what my grandmother used to say all the time, this too shall pass. I do trust that we will get on the other side of this. But what's going to be on the other side of this is the question, of course. And I think that by focusing on the art and making art will make whatever is on the other side of this a little brighter. And knowing that it was committed to making the art and lifting up these voices and working with these playwrights and working with these artists. That's what I'm doing, is the commitment to the art.
Art as a form, as an act of resistance.
Yeah, that's what I can do right now.
Jamila, talking about that, it's a time where it's hard to have courage, especially now. What makes art, I think, incredibly special is that you share it, right? It's not like I'm going to do my art, my little room here, and art is beautiful no matter what. But the power that you're sharing is that you want to make sure that others can see it, that you can amplify, that you can lift others. And so I want to talk about that because it's even our conversation, right? Like, oh, we're talking about resistance. We're talking about the other side. Who's going to listen? And I think that's the point is that you keep on keeping on, but there's also risk and there's fear. And with work that you do, I want to talk about that piece of having courage in yourself, having inspiring courage in others. What does that look like?
I don't I don't know until someone says how much they appreciate me pouring into them or much they appreciate the things that they do. And so I've just learned to the little things that you can do. It's the follow-up email, it's the check-in, it's how's this project going, it's the how are you doing in this, is this okay? That's what is the showing up, and
Mm,
that's what people are remember it, the phrase people don't remember, that people don't remember what you do, people don't remember what you say, people remember how you treat them, and
mm,
that's the most important thing. And so showing up, if I can show up, I will. And so it's showing up. If I can go see a play, if I can go see a performance, a reading, I will. I'll do my best to do that. Oh, that's it's the little things is the way that I can do that. And the people will tell me they appreciate those things. And so that's all we can do for each other right now. I appreciate when people show up for me, and so all I can do is try to reciprocate that. It's really the little things right now.
as someone who also has heard from others how the work that I do has impacted them, even the smallest way, that means a lot. So I have to just say, like, yes, exactly. It doesn't have to be, although it would be helpful, right? To say, let me do some work with you, or here's an opportunity. It could just be, I see you and I thank you and I
Yeah.
appreciate you. It's so true. Jamila, I want to talk about of the many productions you've done. You've done so many. I mean, groundbreaking. People are talking, and I didn't even realize it was you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm talking to you. Can you? I would actually say open up the curtains a bit into your own experience. Tell us about one that was particularly moving for you. It could be working with a specific person or the play itself, but bring us behind the scenes for you personally. What was the one that really took you back?
Yeah, I appreciate you highlighting the work. It's different. I have different roles or different I take different roles in different productions. So the co-producing that I've done is mostly that I've been able to raise money for a show. And but I only join a production if I am drawn to it in some way. I tell people there's always have to be a reason why I do a production. So for Passover, it was about the writer Antoinette Nwandu, who I think is a brilliant writer. It was about being able to support her and support that work. Death of a Salesman was about the fact that it was the first Black Loman family, that when Wendell Pierce was starred in that, Sharon Washington. I adore the play Death of a Salesman. I saw Brian Dennehy do it years ago. It's one of my favorite plays. I do believe it's one of the great American plays, and so the opportunity to see that, to be a part of that in a small way was great. Fat Ham I did because the writer James Iames and the director Sahim Ali are very talented theater makers, and I was just excited for the opportunity to be a small part of that. Um, the Whiz was, of course, it's The Whiz, right? But more importantly, it was directed by Shelley Williams, a Black director, and so the opportunity to support her and support her work in that was great. But yeah, it's The Whiz too. And my connection to The Wiz, my mother played that. That was our cleaning music. When I heard that music come on, we knew it was Saturday morning and time. If you weren't up cleaning, you were going to be in trouble. So that was the connection to that. Gypsy was not only about, of course, the Audra of it all and being able to support a project that Audra McDonald was in, but one of the lead producers, Mara Isaacs, is someone who is very inspiring to me, and the way that she manages a project, the way that she shows up, the opportunity to be a part of the part of that and to learn from her, was great. And also Camille A. Brown, who was the choreographer on that. I've followed Camille's uh, career for many, many years, and so proud of her. And the opportunity to show up for her was great as well. But the projects that mean the most to me are the ones that I am developing.
Mhm.
And it's specific to, as I mentioned, we mentioned a way to earlier, The Blacks, which is a play that was originally written in 1957. It's a French play. The first U.S. production was done in 1961. The Blacks is about a black man on trial for killing a white woman, but it's an exploration of race, of class, of whiteness, of blackness. It's a lot of layers to the play. The original U.S. cast was Cicely Tyson, James Earl Jones, Maya Angelou, Roscoe Lee Brown, Lou Gossett Jr., Helen Martin when they were babies in the 60s. And so, um, again, pouring into up and coming writers and directors, Miranda Heyman, who's a uh, brilliant young director. This was her idea. Miranda brought this to me and said that she wanted to bring the Blacks back. And so I've been really excited to give Miranda her opportunity to have a Broadway debut and to pour into her and put everything around her to be able to make that happen. So that's exciting. Supporting AK and supporting AK's work, not just a way to, but also any future projects. I believe that AK is one of the bright lights of the 21st, going to be one of our bright lights in the 21st century. And so the opportunity to kind of support her at the beginning of her trajectory is really, really exciting. I also have the option, one of my projects, Betsy Brown. Betsy Brown is one of Ntozake Shange's lesser known works. She's mostly known for Colored Girls who considered suicide when the rainbow isn't enough. But Betsy Brown is one of her books that is semi-autobiographical. It's about her family's time when she was 13 when they were living in St. Louis. And it's really about, it happens around Brown v. Board of that court case. And so it's this family living integration. And it's this family of what happens to this black middle class family that was living this very wonderful, rich life with all of these other black middle class families. What happens to them when they have to do integration. So working with Erica Dickerson Dispenza and figuring out what this works. So those are I enjoy developing the projects and finding the way in, finding ways to support these young artists and give them the opportunity to thrive truly.
I mean, so many things you shared there, legacies. These are like Broadway. I mean, this is where we change how we view Broadway. It's incredible. So incredible. Congratulations, Jamila. I
Thank
want to
you.
ask you about this fundraising piece. I mean, not only are you going after art, no matter how challenging the circumstance, and with people who often don't get our voices heard, we're not really seen. I mean, wow. And then you're going to fundraise. Like, wow. Wow,
Fundraising is
you're just
very,
like
very
choose the
hard.
most challenging of challenging of
Yeah,
challenging. Oh
well, for
my
one thing,
goodness.
yes, I do a lot, and I tell people all the time, I do everything at a B plus level. Like everything could be better.
Oh.
So this is the issue. The fundraising is very, very hard, particularly in this climate.
Mhm.
But I've been very grateful to find people want to who have the resources and want to use their resources for good. And it's finding those people, and it's finding when you find those people, the fundraising is easy. And so it's back to your point about, staying true to what you believe in, staying true and staying on kind of message on brand and being committed to works by women and talking about that. I've been lucky to find people who are interested in supporting that. It's
Yeah.
hard. It doesn't happen overnight. When it does happen, I'm always like, okay, yes, this is why I'm doing this.
And what's great is that you just continue to have the same message. You're so dependable, and to know that you stay the course no matter the situation. I mean, that must be huge trust that you have for the people they have for you, for the people who fund. That's true. What put your money where your mouth is, right? So,
Right, right.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, so I have a question as a mother of a daughter who's interested in art, and for all those others who would like to follow in your footsteps to say, wow, one day maybe I can have an impact like Jamila Ponton Bragg is. And so, what kind of advice would you give people who come after, which also includes I wish I had known, right? It's not just like all the inspiring things, but also like be ready. Be ready.
Right.
So any wise words to share because people want to be you.
Well, I don't know about that, but I appreciate that's very sweet. I have been very lucky to have really good mentors.
Mm,
And I tell people all the time, find a mentor, find people who are doing what it is that you want to do, whether you're just switching careers or thinking about switching careers, or if you're just getting started to young writers and young playwrights and young directors. Find people who are doing what you're doing. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Like for when we were first starting, you had to do email, you had to call people, and you had to schedule time to call, and you had to hope that they'd take your call and that kind of thing. You can send an email, and everybody's checking their email constantly. A cold email, if they don't answer you, they don't answer you, but you did it, and but more than likely they actually will answer you, and they will take the time to talk to you. So mentorship and building network is, I think, the one of the most important things that you can do. I always also tell people, and I try to do it myself, that when you're having conversations with somebody, you end it with, is there anyone else you think that I should talk to? Do you have anyone else you think that who might be interested in hearing what I'm saying? And just the one or two people that they name, that you never know what can come from that. But mentor, I've had just the mentorship. I've learned more. I have one woman, Nell Nugent, who is a producer. She's been producing for years and years on Broadway and film. When during the pandemic, when I first started doing this work, one of the things that I'm a part of the Women in Producing Network, and we were on Zoom during the pandemic, and we would meet every other week, and we would just mostly lament, the status of what was happening and all that. But Nell was on there, and honestly, you could learn more in 20 minutes from Nell just talking and listen to her experiences than for any kind of other things that you're doing. But so it really is about connecting, and kept checking in and finding the people who inspire you.
it's interesting how you come back to that very first point that you made in this conversation, which is find people who are values aligned.
Yeah,
And that includes both the people you pour into, but also people who can pour into you. That so it is a fountain and we can give. There's no like, oh shoot, Jamila just took from me. Now I'm, hungry or thirsty. It's actually, that's not true. If you pour, others will pour into you. So I love that so much. With that, Jamila, are you ready for lightning round questions?
let's go. Let's go.
All right, first question, chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Cooking or takeout?
I like to cook.
Climb a mountain or jump from a plane?
I guess jump from a plane because you gotta come back down the mountain.
Have you ever worn socks with sandals?
No.
How would you rate your karaoke skills on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being Mariah Carey?
Oh, you mean my voice or my skills to know the words to something? That's two different things. My
Your
voice
voice.
my voice is like a four. I'm not a good singer,
Mm-hmm,
but I
mm-hmm.
know the words. I can give you all the words.
Nice. What's a book you read, a good book or a recent book?
Um, I'm on a memoir kick right now. I just finished Jeanette McCurdy's. I wish I'm glad my mom had died. Whatever, I forget the name of the title, but it was Jeanette
Mm-hmm.
McCurdy's memoir.
Mm. What's a favorite way to practice self-care?
My shows, my binge watching of my shows.
What's the show?
My daughter and I are about to start season two of The Pit tonight, I think. If she finished season one last night, she was supposed to stay up and watch season one so that we could start season two together.
What's a good professional development you've done?
Um, Probably, the fellowship that I did at Columbia of the Prince Fellowship, and the being joining that community, and the work, the taking the classes and the mentorship that was part of that, I think is, in terms of kind of my trajectory and pouring into myself and in professional development, probably that.
What's your definition of a boss mama?
A boss mama, someone who just gets shit done.
What advice would you give your younger self?
Don't be afraid to go for your dreams.
Hmm.
It, I would be, had I known that I could have had I yeah, don't and what that means is finding out how to make it happen. Had I known that I should have just gone to LA and been someone's assistant to be a TV writer, I wish I would have known that and I would have done it. Because when for years when I was working in nonprofit, even now, my dreams, people would ask, what's your dream job? And it would be to be a TV writer, to be a TV writer for a show. But I didn't know we didn't have that pipeline to to the entertainment side. So I didn't know that I just needed to just be someone's assistant, and that was work that I needed to do to be able to get to getting into a writer's room, to getting being a showrunner. Like I now know that path, but I didn't know that. So I wish I had I known that I could have found a way to get to my dream. I totally would have been an assistant. I would have left school and picked up and gone to LA.
Jamila, I just have to ask that question. How would you have known that? I mean, for my
So there
people, I just don't have that knowledge. Where would you have known
Right,
it?
but there are so it's kind of the idea of like if I know that that's what I want to do, it's no different than the pathway to being a doctor or being a lawyer, right? You know that you got to
Mm,
go to law school.
yeah.
It's just the pathway, but I wasn't exposed to the pathway. The school that I went to isn't known for its work in that area where other schools are. Other schools do
Mm,
have that pipeline, and so it just was one of those things I just didn't know that it was an option. So it's talking to people
mm,
again, back to talking to people who are doing what you want to do. Even if it's like even if you are in finance right now and you're in finance and you're on that pathway, but you have a passion for art and being an art working in an art gallery, go talk to someone who's running that gallery. You might not be there yet, but you might get there at some point. So it's constantly talking to people who are doing that,
great.
doing what you want to do.
Where can we find you? Like LinkedIn, anywhere else?
You can just Google Jamila Ponton Bragg. I will show up on all the things. I'm actually terrible at LinkedIn. I really need to be better about updating that. I'm horrible at it. And but yeah, you Google me, I'll show up.
And then can you share a final thought, recommendations with us?
I well, thank you for this opportunity to talk. That's my parting words. I'm so grateful. Excuse me. I'm so grateful that we had the chance to spend time together. I'm grateful for, like being in community with someone who also believes the importance of lifting up other women. So thank you so much for the work that you're doing by doing these podcasts. Like this has been great, and I wish for other people to find chances to do something like this. Find ways to talk about your passions. Find the people who want to listen to you.
Jamila, thank you so very much.
Thank you.